So these would all be asbestos tile. This is actually replaced tile. This is vinyl tile here. This would be the asbestos tile, but we've already replaced this once and it's settling more and cracking in the replaced sections. Because the vinyl tile is great as far as keeping clean, and you look at the floor in the middle school, it looks great. When it's done, it's really nice, but it's on a concrete base, so it's real stable. This, you'd have to come in and overlay this floor, take this floor off and overlay it with a stable subfloor, and then put your vinyl back in. And when you wax it and buff it, you're in pretty good shape. So, you know, for the most part, very nice building, well-kept building. The only thing with Russell is you have a lot of window. I mean, this whole front section of the building is all glass, all single pane glass. So an upgrade here would certainly be nice to have more energy efficient windows. I think the biggest issues here at Sacramento are that portable and then just closing this breezeway, because you can see people can walk right along here and walk right through that breezeway, and no one in the office would ever see you. So this was really designed as, I guess, an auditorium type room, you know, for lecturing. But the problem is, you know, you've got carpeting issues with this room. And then the way this floor is designed, there is no ADA accessibility in this room with this ramp, and there are no chairs that you could actually use for that. But the biggest problem that we have in here is the fact that these are to the point where they're failing, and we can't replace those without, it's like probably $200 per stand to replace them, to get the angles right. So basically the back 2 rows are gone and have replaced ones up front, but now we're getting to the point where, you know, how far do you bring this forward to still get a class in here? So basically every classroom in the 100 and 200 wing have a bank of windows like that on their outside wall. And they're all single pane windows, so there's no insulation value in this. Some of the windows in some of the rooms have been replaced years ago with plexiglass, which probably was okay at that time, wouldn't come up to code today just for fire reasons. But there's really no insulated value to the windows, and so we lose a lot of heat. And then of course in the summer it's really hot, and there's no way to control that. So down here we have a steam leak in one of the steam pipes. Like I said, the fittings on that piece where it's coming up out of there will be an asbestos fitting, so we'll have to have that abated before we can address the problem. So yeah, this is kind of the issue that we have. The pipes are corroding and rusting underneath the insulation when you get a leak like that, and then it just eats it away at the pipe until you basically have nothing left. But these are plumbing issues that we have not just here in the middle school, but in all the schools that were built in the 60s, early 60s. This is all caused by the drain. There's a drain kind of like right in the middle of this, backing up to the point where we probably had 700 or 800 gallons of water sitting on top of the roof. And then it backed up over the flashing and got into this roof. These aisles, of course, these tiles in the hall are all vinyl asbestos tile. Most of them are, you know, you can see we've replaced sections where they get real cracked. We have to keep them in good condition, but so you have some here that are cracking. They're still intact, but once they start getting to the point where they're loose, we have to take them up and replace them with a vinyl tile. So the other issue that we really have here, let's see if we can find one this morning, is the smoke detectors. That piece of the fire alarm system here is getting to the point where we'll have anywhere from 5 to 40 smoke detectors showing trouble in the panel with being dirty. This one, that red light staying on means it's in trouble.
Okay.
And it's probably just dirty.
Right.
But they're getting to the point where you can only clean them so many times, and then you have to replace them. Well, they're obsolete. You can't replace them, so what we have to do is we have to probably get new bases and smoke detectors.
How much is it
and readdress them.
would that cost?
To replace that system, I think is going to be around $50,000. Most of the panels in the school are of this vintage, and these, if one of these breakers goes out, the only way to replace it is to go to a place that has recycled, refurbished, or recertified breakers. So 1960s, state of the art then. For most people, they drive by and look at this building, or they walk through the building and they see a well-kept building, one that looks nice and a pretty good, decent facility for our school. But what they don't see is the deeper stuff. So there's a lot of issues here. While we keep them in check and keep correcting the issues, they're deeper than what most people see.